Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October meeting of the Environmental Advisory Committee. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First order of business is welcoming our new student EAC member. Archie is here with us tonight. Welcome, welcome. Generally what we do when we have someone new show up, we'll kind of go around and just give a real quick introduction. I know you met a couple, in fact, you met kind of three of us through interviews. Hi, Ryan.
Sorry.
No problem. We're just starting. We're just welcoming Archie, who's here with us now, our new student member. But we're very quickly, quick introductions. Since Ryan just walked in, we'll start with you, Jeff.
Okay, so I'm Jeff Petro, and I joined the council in August of 22. So it's a little bit more over a year, and I came on as a project manager for sustainability. So and we talked a little bit about that in one of the comments or one of the updates. But I'm recently retired. I was in the finance industry, so this is my my presentation, articulation, organization skills sort of showing.
Right, and we also met briefly on the interview. I'm Judy Bishop. I'm the chair of the EAC. I've been chair now for about 3 years. And as far as I'm a civil engineer by trade, I'm a traffic engineer actually. And as far as my involvement here, other than chair activities, I've put together a landscape planting guide at one point. I've also helped facilitate some meetings with other area EAC and other North Hills area EACs. We've done some socials, and other than that, I pretty much just kind of helped out where needed on some of the other projects.
I'm Kevin Allshouse. I'm retired. My training was in forest science and for a large part and active with Friends of North Park and American Chestnut Foundation and that kind of thing. So that's my background on that end. I've been on the EAC since it started, so I'm the old timer here. I get term limited out, I believe, in another year. But what I've been responsible for lately has been developing a trail in Wall Park. Jack's been doing an awful lot of the work on that too, and also help with deer management issues here in the township, because we have a overpopulation and that affects the regeneration of the forest and everything. So that's kind of my background. Welcome aboard.
Jack Casey, I'm a councilman in Ward 2, and that's up where the flats begin, where McDonald's is, and south down to Pine Creek Road, and then I come over to the other side of the hill to, I think it's Wagon Wheel. Then I have Oak Ridge and all the housing plans that go all the way over to Franklin Park. And each council member is given a responsibility. One of the responsibilities that I was given was to serve on the EAC as the town liaison. So as they come up with ideas and things that need support from the town, I take it back to the town. And either the manager implements it or we take it to town council to vote on it. Like we had to vote on you, for instance, to bring you into the EAC. So that's my position. I'm an ex-railroader and an ex-banker. So I bring a very unique perspective, I think.
Ryan Schill, I'm a husband and father of 4 boys. I enjoy the night and I hate light pollution, and I'm here to stop it.
Defend it.
Night, yeah. Fight for the night.
Should I go next?
Go ahead, Don.
I'm Dawn Miller, and it's so nice to meet you, Archie. I'm so glad to have a junior council member join us. I think it's going to be great to have you. Can't wait to see what you're excited about. But I'm a paralegal by trade, but the part of the reason I was passionate about joining the EAC, I've been doing litter cleanups ever since I was a little girl, thanks to one of my neighbors, that drugged me into it when I was little, drug all the neighborhood kids into it. And then also I live right on Pine Creek Road, and so I'm passionate about stream health in our watershed, and I'm a Penn State watershed steward, on the side, and so that's sort of what drove me to join the EAC. But I work on our town's rain gardens, and we do a lot. We try to do some activities for the different community events that we have, and so I usually head up the kids' activities, and so we're always looking for nature themed, environmental related tabling things that we can do if that interests you at all. So I usually help with that. And that's it for me.
All right, Matt.
Hi there. I'm Matt Hartman. I have a background in STEM education. I was a teacher in the classroom for about 10 years, taught AP Environmental Science for 7 or 8 of those years. So real passionate about environmental issues. I'm not in STEM education anymore. Now I actually work in video game design, but still passionate about the environment. So this was getting a student EAC member was kind of one of my things here. So I'm really excited that you're here and that this all happened. So one of the things that I came on hoping to do was to get more in touch with students and things like that in the area, to get them excited and interested in environmental issues and participating in all the things that we do, and hopefully coming up with even new and better ideas than the ones that we have, because you're the ones who are going to live in this world when we're all gone. So we really got to make it great here, especially in the town. So really excited about it. Really excited to see you here, and thanks so much for joining us.
All right, and John, real quick introduction from you as well.
Yeah, my name is John Pajarski. I actually work for the town. I mostly deal with communications, website, stuff like that. But I also work with EAC as well. Been here since 2016, and prior to that, I was in journalism for about 7 years.
So John helps us with all of our kind of communications and social media posts and that sort of thing. A lot more than that, actually, but that's part of what he does.
He's the one who makes the place run.
That's exactly right. So, and I don't know if you have anything quick you'd like to say. I don't want to put you on the spot, but any quick introduction.
Yeah, I'm Archie. I'm a junior at North Allegheny Senior High School. I'm strongly passionate about education and bringing those resources and those voices heard. That's partially why I joined here. I'm doing a project on gifted education, completely out of interest, just to see like how we define if a kid is gifted or not. I'm a musician. I play in the Pittsburgh Youth Concert Orchestra, and I do student council. I like Model United Nations. Yeah, that's about it.
Once again, we're thrilled to have you here. So
Welcome.
thank you.
What instrument?
Violin.
Violin? Someplace violin.
All right, and we'll go ahead and move on with the rest of the agenda items. First thing, approval of the minutes from September. Any questions, comments, additions, corrections? I think I had one spelling, sustainability spelled wrong.
Okay, just once.
John.
I just, it's a heading, so that grabbing,
Okay.
but that's all I saw. Anybody else, any comments on the minutes? No? And just a reminder, Archie, your position here is similar to Jackson, that you're a non-voting member here. So just a reminder, I forget that sometimes. First thing we will ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve?
All right, we have a second.
Second that.
All right, all all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, minutes are approved. Thank you very much. All right, first on the agenda, let's see, public comments. We don't have anybody from the public here today, so let's skip that one this
That's a
time.
question about, did she ever send us a list of roads that had wildflowers that she was trying to, from the last public comment?
Did any, Did anyone receive anything from?
No,
I
no,
don't
they were on Zoom.
Right, I was on Zoom.
Okay.
And I have the wildflowers.
Okay,
That I brought that we could share, that they wanted us to use or spread, or at least be educated to know,
Okay,
you know, what her intention is, but I never heard anything, Brian, I never heard anything
Okay.
further on what road she was being specific about.
no, thanks for the reminder on
Yeah.
that.
I thought something
about
said about Pine Creek and the
So we
Japanese,
will get, so many.
yeah, she mentioned, I think she was talking about the knotweed back here,
Yeah,
what we could do about that.
Let's do wildflowers.
Um,
So instead of Japanese.
So is that where she wanted the wildflower cabins?
I don't know if that's what she wanted.
no, no.
It's becoming invasive and spreading, I
We
believe.
could use wildflower seeds down a wall. or
Okay,
rat trail.
I have so many of them,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also, or once deer don't eat, so that's.
That's even better.
Okay. Next up, project updates and discussions. Obviously, we have our student EAC member here today, so Matt, I'm not sure if we have anything else to discuss as far as that program goes today, or anything else. I guess as far as your mentors for this project, it would be Matt and myself. Matt is pretty much the manager of this program, and I'm helping out as well, so if you have any questions, we're your two main contacts, but you're free to speak with or contact anybody here, ask questions. You think of anything else, Matt?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add. Archie, I will be reaching out to you this week probably, just to make a connection via email and kind of start, pointing you in the right direction, just refresh you about the different things that we expect and hope that you'll be able to do here. And you can, of course, give us any ideas that you have and things like that as well via that communication or at any time.
All right. Anything else on that program? Any other questions? Do you have any questions for us at this point? Or we could always wait till the end and see if you have questions, but if you've got something, go ahead.
When we address people on here, do we use their last name or is it no casual?
We're
oh, you're
very,
so cute.
we're very informal here. I think first names are fine if you're comfortable with that. That's how we work things out. Like, we're far less formal than a town council or maybe even the school board. I've never attended a school board meeting.
Besides that, we've been called worse.
So like you, because we don't have to like motion, like we would say someone wants to speak and then you look around and people would have to like raise their hand just to speak.
We try our best to, we kind of follow a rough rules of order when it comes to taking votes and things like that. But otherwise, in general discussion, I guess we just take our turns. Anybody else have any
Yeah,
thoughts there? I think we're,
I'd say that some people are better at it than others. I was like, so I tend to just, everything happens in about a second for me, so I have to watch that, but we are respectful and try to wait our turn and.
but, and once again, this venue makes it look like we're a more formal type of meeting than we really are. That's just so we can do the audio visual, Zoom portion of this. Prior to COVID, we just met in a meeting room, a table. So I try and keep it fairly informal. I think we don't have any trouble keeping everyone under control
It's
here.
like a bunch of mushrooms, a bunch of fungi.
God.
Oh boy, good first impressions here.
Sorry about that.
I hope that helped. And if you ever have any questions about that, feel free. But if, whatever you're comfortable, first names or last names is fine with us. But I'm perfectly fine with you calling me Judy.
Don't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you're here. We
Absolutely.
really value your input. Is there anything else?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sure thing. All right, next up, sustainability update. Jeff, I know we've thrown a lot of other stuff at you this month, so
Yeah, well, this one is, you know, there's a lot to say about this, so I'll build the story a little bit, so. McCandless is a gold standard Pennsylvania sustainability community. So PA sustainability has, you know, bronze, platinum, silver, gold, or something, you know, something, platinum, gold, bronze, silver, I guess. And we come in at gold. Now, we are gold until December 8th of this year, and then our gold status will expire. So whenever I came on and I interviewed, you know, the story was that we need somebody to be a project manager on this to maintain our gold, or to find out why we're not gold and how do we get there. Or objectively, if we could be platinum, be the best thing that we are. So right now, John and I have been working hand in hand to get us there. And there were 12 pods: water, municipal operations, and these are just examples, the transportation, energy, you know, all these different pods that they have all these questions. And then, you know, yes, we do this, and we supply documentation that we do this, and we have a diversity and inclusion plan, and we supply the documentation, we get 5 points. So we need a total of 276 points. We're at this point, 270 out of 276. So we know we'll get the right amount of points. We still have 3 more categories, and we know we're gonna get 6 points, if not 36 points out of that. We'll get there. There are 4 questions which we are required to answer yes to receive gold or platinum status. And so with that, they are going to take a little bit more work than John and I can do. And we need to go to Jack, our liaison to council, and to Brian O'Malley, who's the township manager, the borough manager, and say, oh, you need to build a diverse or a sustainability team. And that should be a citizen, an EAC member, a township member. So you need to write in John or somebody else's job description that you are part of this team. And so therefore we've achieved that. And we can say yes, and we can provide documentation that it happens. That's for an example. And there are other, you know, a few other ones, and some are not that easy. Some are going to be greenhouse gas, and they're going to really take some, you know, people reaching down and saying, can we do this? Do we want to do this? Do we sort of do this? But can we defend the fact that if we say yes, can we defend that? So right now, you know, we're really in the last throes, the last 60 days of both getting past 276, of answering these 4 questions that are important, and then having a call with PA Sustainability and saying, here we are, will you now recertify us as gold? So those 3 things will happen over the coming 2 months.
With that, I did talk to Brian today
Yes.
about it. I believe he probably spoke with you, John.
Yeah, we had a brief chat, probably will follow up the
There-
your meeting.
There's some follow-up needs to be done.
Okay.
And we'll get you what you need.
Okay, good. And you know, of course, I'll come in anytime and work with him, and we can, you know, sort of work together on how we can do this. And you saw, I drilled down a little bit further on those ones that we need. So you're just, since you don't have the system, so one of them is greenhouse gas, and it's going to be, you know, do we provide documentation?
But one of the things, for instance, we're spending $600-some thousand to change the heating, air conditioning, ventilation inside this building. We're also replacing all the windows. So we were kind of thinking that might fall into that category.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm not sure that they, you know, they're gonna go through every piece of documentation we provided and say, oh, that, you know, we see a quirk in this one, and we're not gonna. You know, so hopefully we are getting there. So there's a couple that we'll have to work on, and the other ones I think will come pretty easy, but that is the update at this point.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any questions for Jeff?
I have a quick question, Jeff. You may have said this like previously, but that December 8th date, is that when we have to resubmit by, or is that when they have to have reviewed everything and it's done by?
Well, so we have to resubmit, but they have to approve that. We have to so we'll resubmit early. We'll be able to resubmit much earlier than that. I'm guessing, you know, at least. And then we'll meet them. So whenever we say, you know, okay, we presented everything, we hit send on this. And now, now it's up to you to either recertify us, or, give us a little bit of leeway on the date. And I think that would happen, so, they've been worked with, and I fully expect them to be easy to work with and sort of, get us to the point where we can achieve the goal within a reasonable amount of time.
Thanks.
What are the benefits?
The benefits are, I guess John can maybe tell you a little bit better than I can, but there's certainly grant money that's out there for achieving some of the things that we don't necessarily achieve now. So if we need grant money, it's easier to get it if you are gold standard or you're working toward gold standard. John, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I would say, it's from the perception, say, hey, we're sustainable too. It does make us more favorable for grants, because I know a lot of grants now, especially state grants, are asking you, hey, are you part of this program?
Okay. Other than environmental, of course, that's what you meant.
Right,
Other than environmental
It's also
benefits.
on the site too, right? It's you'll see all the gold standard. There's one platinum standard sustainable community, one. And then there's a bunch of golds.
and is that in the state or the county?
It's in the state,
In the state,
it's in the state.
Probably more of a city environment.
I think so, I would think so. And so I think that people, I think people will, research that and I'm not really sure why that, now that I think about it.
One of the original justifications for spending the time on it is that when people were looking for a new community to live in, part of it is seeing that we have the gold standard.
Okay, great, so that would answer the question I could answer, so thanks, Kat.
anything else? Okay, next topic, roadside cleanups. We have 2 dates coming up, this Saturday and then the Saturday after that. And Jeff's been working hard and with Dawn and myself to try and get this thing pulled together. Archie, we had one member that was a previous member, that was really his passion. Dave Minard's the one that set all these up. He left the EAC back over the summer. So we have these dates scheduled really at the beginning of the year. So John has them on the calendar. So we had the 14th and the 21st of October for these cleanups. So we're kind of cobbling this together this time around, because the leader of the effort is not with the committee anymore. So we're doing the best we can right now. So I don't know if you want to give the report, Jeff.
Yeah, I just mentioned that we probably have, I think, roughly 40 people for this Saturday. And we have also a detailed spreadsheet of the routes that we normally cover, the ones that that should be covered over the course of the year, if not twice, at least once. And then we sort of, we number them. So we say, well, this is a 1. This one needs to be, if you drive down Babcock toward La Roche, you're gonna see a bunch of stuff on the side, bypass it or something like that. So we say that's a high profile area. Let's assign 4 people, 2 to walk down one side, 2 to walk down the other side. Let's assign 4 people there, and they go from Cumberland to blah, 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 blah. So we break that down and we assign those. Now, there's 2 other parts of this. There are certain parts of the community where you need police assistance, because you're going to get too close to the road. It might be McKnight Road. It might be something that we need to provide public safety. So we do have 3 police officers assigned to us on that day. But most important is, if the weather is cooperative, then we can go ahead with it. But if it's going to rain all day, or if public safety feels that it's a safety issue, then they'll just call it off, and then we'll just go to an alternate rain date, which would be the next Saturday. So it's scheduled for this Saturday. We have one scheduled for next Saturday, the 21st. Again, about 40 people for this Saturday. Tomorrow night, Dawn, Judy, and myself will have a call. We'll have a Zoom call, and we'll assign the 40 people to routes.
So from the 40 people, is that like, how do you sign up for this?
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
good question. It's been on social media. Once again, I guess if you're not, it's through Town of McCandless Instagram. It's been on Facebook. It's also on the webpage on our website. And it also was mentioned, postcard went out to everybody about the, was it the leaf pickup? And on that also had a note and a QR code to sign up. So basically the sign up is through our webpage, our website. And that's where some of the signups we'll get just from direct contacts with us. But most of it went through the website, and then John compiles it all and puts it in a spreadsheet for us.
And then, you know, the McCann's Crossing, there's a sign, there's a LEDs, or whatever we call it, that'll state the dates.
Message sign.
A message sign, message board, and there's one by the History Center or the
Heritage.
Center, thank you. But, you know, I'm gonna turn it to you now. How should we get that word out? I think we struggle with this.
So roadside cleanup would be seen as an act of community service for a lot of high school students. And one thing that I know for sure is that, especially when it comes to like college, when you take like people from Nash and NAI, they need volunteering hours. And
Right.
so like, again, like obviously the best thing is when people are genuinely interested in like, helping, but a starting point for getting people like knowing about this, I think would just be like having schools like work on site. I know that Interact, I'm not sure if you.
And actually, you could talk to Matt about that. He has been dealing with the Interact Club. And in fact, you did talk with Ms. Lombardi. So Matt's got that part covered, and you've actually names from her, right?
Yeah, that's right. So just to give you a little bit of background too, about a year and a half ago, I just got all the contact information for any extracurricular club that had anything to do with environmental issues in any way or community service in any way. And I sent every one of their sponsors an email saying, hey, you know, I'm a member of the EAC. We have all sorts of different things that go on. I'd love to talk to you and get your students involved, and there's community service opportunities. And Ms. Lombardi is basically the only person that got back to me. I reached out again at the beginning of this year to all the same people, and again, did not get any responses. So we're having real problems getting responses from the sponsors, and we can't directly be contacting students because that's just not, you know, an okay thing for us to do. Also, we wouldn't have any way to do that. We don't have lists of email addresses or anything anyway. But I wouldn't use them if we did. I don't think that doesn't feel okay to me. So we have tried to reach those teachers. If you feel like you have some contacts, or you have some teachers or some clubs that you are in that would be interested, they can either work through you. You can connect them with
That'd be
me.
great.
However we want to do that. I would love to be able to talk to more people. You know, Ms. Lombardi has been fantastic. She's very responsive, and also she's gotten us a lot of students involved. I think there are at least 7 or 8 coming this Saturday. There's 4 at least coming next Saturday for, you know, at least as of last week. But I also know that this weekend this Saturday is the PSATs. So there were a lot of students that were going to be taking that wouldn't be available. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of where we are on that. But if, like I said, if you have contacts or you have names of people that you could talk to and say, hey, the EAC is interested in getting your students involved in this because we know they need community service, you know, again, either you can send me their contact info or whatever, but I think it's the kind of cold call that's the problem, right? So when I just email out of the blue, they get 100 emails a day and they're just kind of like, okay, I don't need to, I'm not going to pay attention to that. I've got too much going on. And it's not that they wouldn't be interested. It's just that they've got, you know, too much going on and they don't have the bandwidth for it.
Right, and I think we've had contacts previously with the Key Club, Mr. Rack, and I'm not sure if he got a personal contact from anybody.
I dropped the ball on that. I was supposed to do it and I didn't. I apologize. That was me.
Go for October 21st and go back to Mr. Rack and.
I will.
I mean, even, and this might be silly, but even if we could pull it off, well, I mean, can you do anything that shows you in a vest and gloves and like, hey, you know, hey, my friends, you know, this is what I'm doing on the 21st, come join me in blah, 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 or something like that, and for, you get your community hours or whatever that is, or come join me, beautifying your community. Is there anything? Can we do a media thing? Can we do anything?
Or Archie, to Jeff's point, I'm sorry. Isn't there like, don't you all have like a Nash TV or Nash, don't you have students that read announcements and such?
Yeah, we do, but not everyone pays attention to me. I think like a really good idea would be like when we're actually, I mean, I've just followed Town of McCandless, but when we're actually like doing these cleanups that we, if possible, if that's okay, we could like take pictures of people doing something. And then, as odd as this may sound, like, have you heard of TikTok? I'm assuming you have.
I have, I
Yeah,
have an account. I've never been on it. but
I
yeah.
don't have an account either.
Okay.
One's our social media person. So, yeah.
But like making like music, and I can like tell you what people are interested in, because I know
be
but, you know,
great.
have that together, and it would be like really funny, and and if we like exciting, and if we did something that's like some kind of like meme or joke, people are gonna look at it, and first they're gonna be like, this is funny, and then they're gonna be like, I want to do this, right? You see something online, that's what people usually think, and then if you make it seem like an exciting, fun activity, because people might be like, I don't want to spend my Saturday cleaning out roads, but if you're like a group effort and people are laughing, people are having fun, people are even having snacks or whatever you're doing, then suddenly there's an interest in like being part of something. And I think like showing the aspect of like teamwork coming together is going to make a lot of people feel like they can be a part of a bigger whole.
Okay.
I love it. Archie, I'll email you
Ar-
tonight
just-
and we can
Want you to
maybe
say
work on getting something done.
it'd be best to run everything through John, because we kind of have.
We will.
So
Yep.
that we don't stub any toes.
But
Well,
no,
one of the challenges too, though, is getting it out to the people who need to see it, right? That's a challenge that we have run into because, like, for instance, I have a TikTok and I've posted cleanup stuff just when I'm at it, just my own personal stuff, right? But I don't have anybody locally watching it
followers.
that's like, oh, well, I should go do the cleanup too, right? So like none of the people that are seeing my thing. So one of the questions is, how do we get the algorithm to send it to the right people?
yeah, Dawn?
Well, I want to let Archie speak, but I have a comment.
Algorithm, I think like in general, like if I just asked like 20 people that I know, could you post this on your Instagram? They probably would, because they're friends, and then like,
That's what I was gonna say. If we can get Archie and maybe my son and literally 2 other kids to put it up there and have a few people to share it, it'll go from there. I think it's just getting in that inner circle of the kids, so Archie, if you're able to help us sort of seed that out, that would be awesome. So exciting.
That's great. But I guess we'll discuss kind of the details of logistics for Saturday when we talk tomorrow. But I guess we do have to discuss, the whole weather issue. Because John, are you normally the one that ends up making the decision, go or no go, or
I mean,
how does that
I
work?
don't want to be the one to do that.
I
I think
know,
somebody
that's
in
like-
police or public work to say, hey, I don't think it's a good idea.
Mhm.
So we probably want
come
to
from
decide
Jeff.
that's Friday morning. So I can tell the folks who have over.
Friday morning.
Then what do you do, Jordan? You then email all of them and say, we're gonna be canceling this or.
I would email all participants and say, hey, this is canceled, if you want to come next week, that would be swell.
Yeah, okay, good, yeah, 21st, we want to push the 21st, so we can get 40 people, 40 people it's a good showing.
And would we post something on social media that morning saying it was canceled, maybe?
Yeah, we do the
you
general.
do that, John?
Post something on the front door because someone's gonna come.
There you go.
No, my fingers are crossed because it seems like the last several I've done of these, it has rained and it's either canceled or
So
we did it in the rain. It's my fault. It's whichever one.
20 straight days and then it rains on that.
I know, and whichever one I sign up for, you can about
Yeah,
that it's gonna
yeah.
rain that day. So,
I
Yeah,
say
the forecast right now is not super promising.
for the
it's not,
stickers.
that's not.
Okay.
the butt stickers, litter stickers.
Oh, good, okay.
Okay, so is there anything else we need to discuss at this meeting tonight? Anybody else have questions or anything that we need to add?
We end up, Archie, if we end up posting cringe. How's that gonna set us back? With the youth?
Such a good question.
All right, so what is,
Is
What is
cringe
cr-
still the word? I don't know.
I like,
It does make it-
that makes a kid,
It's
I don't wanna get into this.
not
So
cool?
embarrassing.
'Cause, yeah, I mean, I'm old now, so. Hey, fellow kids.
So does that happen? If
I
it's-
mean, you've heard the saying, like all publicity is good publicity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So essentially, I think that like, yeah, that could happen. Like, it's not that, oh, they're gonna watch it and be like, this is great. Like, I mean, knowing people, I feel like they're going to have reactions and you might see some comments here and there, but I think that like, that's just kind of the risk and the aspect of taking it. Like, essentially, it's not like people are gonna, because I'm assuming that the 40 people who do come do actually genuinely care, or else they wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Right, so like, it's not like we're gonna lose anyone from it. So I think like, yeah, we might post something and we might get 0 reactions, and then we keep trying and we keep trying. Like, you keep showing up on their feed, eventually they can't ignore you and they get interested.
Yep.
And then they're like, let's, like, or we can send out emails and be like, join us, like there's really like, you get this constantly, and then instead of spamming or like blocking, you just go, let me just go see what this is one time, and then you're like, oh, this is great, and then you stick to it. So
Right, okay, okay.
Should we run all memes by you then? And you get to cringe on it? Huh? Okay. Cause I already made some,
Okay,
but I don't know if they're cringe, yeah. So,
okay. That's all the questions we have on that. We'll move on to Brant Trail updates.
I've been kind of AWOL here the past month because of, other stuff I have going on. So Jack's been really carrying the ball there. So I'll let him carry on from there.
I talked to Brian about getting an opening date to make it official, so we can put it out there. He's working on that. Jeff Schoeneman is working on signage, so that we can post both trailheads and moving forward.
Wow, that's great.
It was a nice article in, in the Tribune Review. So, no, it's the Allegheny North Journal,
Yeah, that was what, about a month ago? It was,
2 weeks ago.
okay,
Very nice one.
very nice.
Archie, do you know what we're talking about?
mm-mm,
Okay, do you know where Rochester Road is?
mm-mm.
Do you know where Sloop is?
I don't know, Rose.
Yeah,
Oh,
Coons, do you know where Coons grocery store is?
Ingomar, do you know where Ingomar
Yeah.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to go up Ingomar Road from here and you go to the intersection where Coons is, that's Harmony Drive. If you make a left, that's Highland Road that it crosses, and we have a town fill site there. On the backside of the fill site is Manor Drive. You go down Manor Drive, there's parking for about 4 cars, and it's also the entrance to our new trail, which is just short of a mile long, and that goes all the way down the hill to the corner of Rochester and Sloop Road.
and it attaches to Wall Park, which is with ball field,
Right.
tennis courts, that the town already owns. But basically, it's how many acres of green space?
There's 74 acres.
74 acres of green
that
space.
nobody's done anything with.
Right,
It just sits there, and the deer come in and they ate everything, all the undergrowth. And now it's just becoming Japanese stilt grass. And that forest is probably gonna die if we don't go in and start to do something to remediate it and maybe fence off some sections and get some native plant growth going and call the herd and get some of the deer out of there. It's bleak if we don't make it.
but at least in the meantime, we have a trail that
Yeah.
maybe we can
Yeah,
So they,
get people out walking and seeing, seeing the
And-
nature and.
and we get more interest, and
Yeah.
I think people will want to make it more of a nature reserve.
I was at a meeting last night with Rachel Carson Trail and other trail groups. And, there's a lot of potential to what we have there of making a figure 8 loop and really taking advantage of the 70 acres there. But part of that is getting the grant money and people to come out and do the work to do all of that stuff. But the first thing is to get this first trail in so that we have something established, that we can say that we do have something. There's a lot of potential there as far as doing it, making one of the trails a nature trail and pointing out the different native plants and so on and so forth. But that's all down the road. That's all potential. That's further out.
But I guess what we were told, we tried for years to get grant money from the state to build this trail. And then I guess after talking with other municipalities, basically we're told, well, you kind of have to put a trail in, have something there, and then you apply for grants to build on what you have. So this is where Jack and Ken have really taken this on in the past year and basically got a group of other local trail builders through Rachel Carson Trails Conservancy, Trails Pittsburgh, and they basically went out there and built this trail a mile's worth. So now hopefully now we've got this started. All these other things all this other potential we can tap into, hopefully getting some grant money.
Which ties into his sustainability project,
Right.
now.
Connects one park to the next.
Yeah.
It connects, Wall Park to Potter Park, which
To Vestal
potentially
Park.
goes to Vestal Park, and it connects to North Park. So now you have a, like a self-sustaining walkable community.
And it goes more than just in McCandless. There's trail systems that go. Rachel Carson manages 184 miles of trails. And there's, with Pine Township and Marshall Township and Bradford Woods, they're all getting together to make some interconnecting trails that connect on to Rachel Carson to take it up to North Country Trail and everything. So this is a part of a much bigger thing to have a trail system that basically goes all through Western Pennsylvania, depending on where and what you want to do.
As a matter of fact, Brian and I are going to be meeting with Franklin Park to talk about connectivity in the Franklin Park. And there's 2 or 3 trails we have in mind.
Good. Any other questions on the trail? Oh, thank you again. Any updates on deer management, Ken?
Deer management, we get a monthly report, and the thing I can tell you is that each year we've had more hunters involved and more properties, more private landowners. Hopefully, I would hope that we can continue to add more private landowners to Suburban's inventory of properties to hunt. Because the deer issue is that there's no regeneration in the forests, and which really affects the whole ecosystem. The harvest is way up this year. When the deer are harvested, many of them go down to share harvest, which means that the venison then goes off to food banks and things like that. So it's everything, there's nothing wasted, so to speak, when we're out there trying to help our ecosystem to recover from the overpopulation of deer, so that we can reestablish a more sustainable forest. And at the same time, we're providing, meat for people that are coming to food banks and such. So it's an overall good program. It's just a matter of trying to get more private landowners interested in participating in the program.
I just had added somebody today. Good. 3 acres. Cool.
I have a friend who's extremely passionate about deer management. She spoke about it at a podcast. She's only a sophomore, but she knows, I think, as much as you could possibly know about this subject, which is a little odd for someone her age. But I do want to reach out to her because she had a lot of ideas for how to get people involved in this. And she was explaining this a lot more in detail. That's how I learned about deer overpopulation, was actually through her, because she was talking about how it's such an issue, and then she was talking about different solutions, and that's one of the solutions that she mentioned. So like, I think that like she'd be really like helpful in this area.
If she would be interested, she can come and speak to us at the beginning of the next meeting. Yeah, the public comment period.
That's great.
That would be really cool.
How much land do you need to sign up for that?
Pardon me?
How much land do you need to sign up for that?
When you have a property that's huntable, we're a special regulations area here. So basically, if you own a couple of acres, you can stand on your back porch and shoot deer if you want to do that. If you have adjoining, if you're in a residential area, 1 acre isn't going to be sufficient unless your landowners within 50 yards of you give you permission, written permission. So the overriding rule is 50 yards.
Okay,
So you have to be 50 yards away from any occupied dwelling. And as long as those landowners would give you permission to do that, to hunt, then they can hunt on your property, or if the landowners is sovereign, they can say you can't hunt Saturday morning and so on and so forth. But when you get into these housing plans, if you have 2 or 3 people that say, no, I don't want anything, it kind of blows the whole thing up.
It's also exceedingly expensive because we have to have insurance for each location. So if you use this many people to try, you have 10 people to get 3 acres, it's gonna cost you 10 times the amount as if you come in with 1 person that has 3 acres.
I didn't realize.
So we don't really go out and try to solicit the smaller locations. We have maybe 125 opportunities in the town that we're looking at to try to talk those people into allowing us to hunt.
But if you have 3 acres, that's sufficient.
That's sufficient.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 acre is too small, 3 acres, you can do it.
Got it. Thanks, Ken. All right, next up, Ryan, light pollution.
well,
Anything-
driving down, it's getting worse. I believe what they passed a law that they're not gonna do. There's only doing LEDs. I think I heard that somewhere at the end of the year. I think the
You can-
federal government,
Can only purchase LEDs.
so you can only purchase LEDs. The problem being that the old lights, a lot of the energy was converted to heat, which is why they were very inefficient. Now this is just, these LEDs are just pure light energy, which is intense glare. Driving down, but everybody's loving the whole bright white floodlight, leave it on all night kind of thing, and we're gonna run into problems with eyesight. You know, they're very distracting, they pull the attention. And the town has 1995 was the last, it was the only lighting ordinance. But I don't know, we have a noise pollution ordinance that makes the town from Footloose nervous, you know, just reading that's like you're afraid to cough outside, but I think we have an opportunity here to, you know, kind of say, you know, hey, let's chill with the lights. You know, as you know, kind of put some things, you're gonna be getting more powerful lights coming up. They're gonna be getting stronger, brighter, and like if you can get 4 lights for the $1,000 and just put them on every corner of your house, you can end up turning your yard into like a car dealership.
Well, what are ways to control that? I know the city of Pittsburgh, within the past year, I read something about dark sky ordinance. I don't know enough about that. I
Yeah,
know, just with the work I do, downtown, sometimes my traffic signals include luminaires over the roadway. And now everything that's installed in the city of Pittsburgh has to meet this dark sky ordinance.
yes, I do remember reading about that a while
So
ago.
I didn't know is that something that we need to do some more research on and something to present to the town?
There's definitely plenty of stuff, so
Okay,
my idea is that, you know, see, well, how does council feel about it? How do other people feel? I mean, I've heard some things, people like, yeah, we're, you know, it's getting bad, you know, other people saying,
We have gotten complaints from neighbors, but we've been able to get neighbors talking and get them to remedy the situation without trying to legislate a solution. And that's basically how we handle the noise pollution too.
Okay,
We had complaints and we got basically a mediator to go sit down with these two people and resolve it. So I don't think there's an appetite to make legislation, but that doesn't mean that we don't have an appetite to help educate. Because, you know, you had your flyer and there might be other things that we can do. If somebody can come up with some concrete ordinances that are working somewhere else, I think that would be a great way to start.
I think going forward into the future, greater population increase, you know, you're gonna, more affordable lighting, it's gonna become a huge problem, especially around here, you know, we got eagles, we got, you know, there's wildlife,
Deer.
right in North Park, yeah, we got the deer who love the light, because
They do.
that means no predators, these are human, you know, we can eat delicious landscaping and all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know, it'd be nice to do ultimately, my goal would be to get something on the books, this, you know, to kind of, because a lot of these ordinances like get ignored unless they become a problem, at least then somebody has a safety to say, hey, you know, I'm trying to protect my area. You know, you're shining lights on my windows, you know, you're destroying my environment. And that's, you know, why is it that I can't put anything in yours, but like everybody can just go and shine light. All of everybody's, you know, all into the air, all over the place, and they're not using it, they're not outside, but
It's just a very, very difficult situation to get your hands around. So the more facts and figures and information you can get, I mean, Judy and I had a complaint about the newsletter, about the article. And it goes both ways. So you have to be very judicious in your approach.
yeah, you know, I understand that. I mean, I understand there's people who love light. And there's people who hate it, so I mean,
People love LEDs because they save the world.
well,
right,
they're
so-
gonna find out they're not, huh? Yeah.
Right.
That's the contradiction. So, you know, even in the sustainability, you know, have you switched to LED lights? Okay,
Right.
so we know that is a trend that's not gonna stop. Well,
No, I know, yeah, that's why it's
What we're
like,
saying is that that's fine, but the brightness of them at night is disrupting the ecosystem.
And people are leaving them on all night because it doesn't cost money.
Absolutely. So if you have solar lights, they eventually, like, we have solar lights, LED solar lights, and they go out, you know, after, you know, they'll certainly go out earlier in the winter because there'll be less sun to propel them. But you also, you can't, I mean, there's always a public safety issue and people feel safer with their lights on. And so you can never, animal spirits are never gonna, doesn't matter what you do. If somebody wants to leave their light on because they feel safer, because there were people breaking in at North Park and stealing things, people are gonna leave their lights on. And so it's always gonna come down to, you know, the nature is always gonna tell you that you wanna be safe. And I think Jack's going down the right road. If there is something, if there is an example of a community that has been able to successfully you know, sort of dumb down the lights or have something, then maybe we could talk about that. But I don't think people will take to it, you know.
We don't mind being cutting edge. We don't want to be bleeding edge.
Right.
Just
Right.
two things real quick. One, like when the sheets was put in on 19, part of the process that Sheets had to go through to establish the store there was with their lighting so that they didn't cast light down into the neighborhood down below and so forth. So, you know, McCandless is pretty active on working on that. In North Park, the issue,
Let me add something to
Okay.
that, okay? We just passed a very comprehensive new ordinance where it's called a saldo and rezoning. And we put in there very comprehensive information relative to any new buildings. Okay, so anything that's gonna be built now moving forward, we do have guidelines and controls on, but there's legacy stuff and you don't have the same opportunity to go in and tell somebody that's been doing something for 40 years, they can't do that anymore. So to his point,
okay, and then in North Park, the issue was brought up about the light pollution, you know, like at the parking area at the boathouse and things like that. And the 2 points that were brought up there was, one is when people are going to their car, they want it to be light. You know, they don't want to be going out to a dark parking lot. You know, it's
Natural,
public-
yeah.
So it's a public safety issue. And the other part of it is as soon as you get 50 yards away from that parking area, it's dark. So it's not. If you would take an aerial photo, the amount of area that's actually lighted is relatively insignificant. So it's something that you need to pay attention to when, particularly with commercial stuff, that you're not overriding and making a big sunspot in the countryside there. But you know, at residential things, I think, as Jack said, you know, if a neighbor's lights are shining on your property, I think maybe you should have a conversation with your neighbor. I don't know that.
Let's say that falls through, and then, you know, then you're,
They come down and
Up the
talk to the
creek.
town and maybe we can,
but yeah, I get that. I'm not talking about personal stuff, but just like people who want to move, people want to come, you know. I'd hate for somebody else come and, you know. You miss somebody think, okay, it's gonna be nice, and all of a sudden somebody
it's
throws
just
up a
that-
floodlight. Now I've seen a lot of floodlights be thrown up and just like. And you're driving, you're just like, oh my God, you know, you're putting up your hand, you can't take walks around because they're just so. It's just, I mean, and it's a very easy thing, I think, to deal with. I mean, a lot of it's like, if you just hide the bulb. And keep it out of eyesight and direct the light down, you can
Well,
eliminate a lot of the
and-
spread into people's eyes and protect
And
damage.
that's where I think, that's why I mentioned what they've done in the city, because I think there are standards that we can start, you know, whether you look at or refer to as far as shielding goes and that sort of thing. So, you know, maybe it's a matter of gathering some of those types of details. You know, when.
I fully get it because I walk outside and everybody in the neighborhood has a very like I don't like, they have different, they have soft light. Except the guy to my right, he uses a daylight, bright light, and it's just like, it just doesn't look right.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
Yeah.
So I totally get it, but I don't have a right to go in and tell them that. You know, just look around, everybody's got nice lights and you have this big harsh light, you know, it wouldn't help our relations.
But I think some of it's informational too, because I know personally, I'll go to Home Depot, buy some new, you know, LED lights. I don't know the difference.
Exactly.
And I don't know till I bring this light home and I plug it in and go, that's not what I wanted. So I think all these products have come out and we don't necessarily know what they are.
well, a couple months ago, I went to Lowe's and I was looking because I was gonna buy a light, you know, something
Mhm.
better.
Yeah,
And they are all daylight. Like I couldn't even find a warm white outdoor light. So it's almost like people are being forced, and people don't think they're just buying the cheapest bulb, the brightest, here we go, I'm done, because they're in their house.
right. So I think some of it's a learning process right now too.
Agree.
Yes.
It's quite a bit above our pay grade.
But,
You know,
you
it
know,
starts with the federal government. They said, this is how it's gonna be. And now we've got some side effects that maybe they really didn't think through.
We're gonna have and I think they're just side effects. We're not gonna
Unintended
see a lot of
so.
what damage they're causing in
So
the.
start thinking, what can we do? You know, what can you do to make this easier on everybody? Whether it's information, whether it's, you know, finding out how other communities are dealing with this. I think that's at least a start.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that education is a huge point here, right? Because exactly what you're talking about with the different types of bulbs. I mean, I know that personally, I had my porch light on every night because that's what my parents did. So that's what I did. It didn't occur to me. Never, you know, I wasn't doing it because I needed it on. I was just like, yeah, it's just what you do, right? And then once I learned, oh, okay. So what we ended up doing was getting a sensor light, right? So if somebody approaches our house, the light comes on and it stays on for 10 minutes and then it goes off, right? So we have it on, we have these sensors so that if anybody's around, it's going to come on. So we feel safe, but we don't have to have our light on all night long like everybody else on the block. Because, and again, I don't think that they're leaving those on necessarily. Some of them might be doing it because they feel like it's a safety thing. I feel like a lot of them are doing it just because that's what they've always done.
I absolutely agree, 100%.
Right.
So I
That's
think
what a lot
education
of it is.
is a huge thing here.
Well, and I'm always gonna push social media, you know, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
you know, if you want to work with me, I'd be happy to try to put together some posts that we could send to John. You know, just short blurbs, educating people. And to Archie's point, I mean, you know, we could eventually do some sort of funny video. You know, anything like that that you're interested in putting energy into. I mean, I'll help you if you are interested in putting together the content.
Yeah, there's already a lot of stuff out there, PowerPoints and stuff. There's a couple organizations, Pennsylvania has one.
I
Pennsylvania,
just need, like, think about a social media post, like, right? Like,
Right.
I just need like 3 or 4 sentences that
Like that Lowe's
for each
example. we gave.
series of posts that we're gonna do, and then like a general, you know, and then boom, we send it out. That's really what I need, like a bulleted, you know, somebody plucking the facts out that they think we need to highlight, and we can start going from there.
alrighty.
Anything else on that topic? All right, that's what I had for major project updates. Next, under community outreach. I guess we've been handling student outreach in a lot of these other projects. Is there anything else to add, Matt?
No other updates right now.
Okay. Catch basin detail update. All right, Dawn. Oh, I have, sorry, that must have been, I changed the topic and not the names. I do, Jack has finally gotten all the other supplies for me for the catch basin decals.
Oh, good.
I didn't know I had that.
I'll get the rest of the adhesive from Jack. I'll kind of, this right here is a box of 200 decals, and he says if we have more. So Dawn, I know you have somebody that's waiting for these.
Yes, Theo Tedesco from Fox Chapel.
So I'll get all of this from Jack tonight, and I'll find a way to get you what you need. And I can go over some of the, I guess we have to come up with a new list of locations, or I can look at the Google Docs that
I
are
think he
already
gave
out
me a
there.
list too of all our new roads.
Oh, did he?
It's in my truck.
Okay, that's great. Then I'll add that to my database and go with that. So Dawn, I'm very close to having what Theo needs.
Okay, cool.
And then once we get through the roadside cleanups, we can get back into discussions about how to get these things out.
Are we going to talk about Winterfest?
I was, do we need to do that, or do we want to get through? Do you have things you'd like to discuss, or do we?
Just real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Just because I want to get back to Nicole Farnan. So the activities committee reached out to us to see if we're interested in helping with Winterfest again this year. And what we told her was that we were interested, we think, in doing a table, but I wanted to check with you guys to make sure that was the case. And specifically, Matt, I sort of wanted to check with you. Do you think we could maybe be ready to do the game show, recycling game show, possibly as sort of our big attraction?
I mean, the simple answer to that is yes.
Yay!
The longer answer to that is I have no idea what exactly that's going to look like or how we're going to do it. But as long as we start working on it,
yeah.
Sure.
If there's a will, there's a way. As long as you
Yeah.
say yes, we can make it happen. So okay,
you
good.
bet.
Okay, so as long as anybody doesn't have any objection, I say we do a table, and then and we can come back to whether or not there's an objection. But as to decorating the Christmas tree, I just mentioned to her that maybe we weren't so interested this year, given, you know, the destruction of the ornaments that happens every year and the cost and the time involved. And she actually mentioned that they had gotten a lot of similar feedback. So the trees are sort of TBD anyway, to be determined whether or not they're going to do the trees. So I don't know. I'm sort of hopeful that maybe they'll move the trees inside, and there's an opportunity for us to do that again. But does anybody have an objection to us doing a table at Winterfest? Is everybody into helping with that, or at least a few of us?
Yeah, what date is that again, Dawn? I'm sorry.
I don't know that we have a date yet. It's usually
December 2nd, maybe something.
December
Ah.
2nd. December
There you go.
2nd.
And Archie, that's another town community day essentially. That's held before Christmas, and we I don't know what all goes on at
It's
Winterfest.
attended. I mean,
It's very well attended.
Very nice.
Aimed at
Family
families, right?
And what Matt was talking about is that we want to do like a game show. We need something to attract people to our table and to tell people who we are and what we do. And we're still trying to figure that out. And I think we've got a little bit of time to come up with what that, how we get that message through. But we were talking about, somebody came up with Matt or Dawn or somebody.
Matt.
That coming up with like, you know, you have a poster board or a wheel or something and it has recycling items on it. You know, is it recyclable? So if you go to, you know, a takeout and you have that styrofoam, is it recyclable? The answer is no. If it's a number 7, but it's from, you know, a Chinese food company, it looks, you know, but it looks like it is, but it's not. You know, and there's a can, it is, and there's glass, yes, it is. And, you know, so I think people need to be always better educated on, you know, and Matt, what do you say? When in doubt, throw it out, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's gonna be the name of our game. When in doubt, throw it out.
I think it would also be like really cool that like when we have these type of tabling ideas to bring in people and to kind of like make them realize it without telling them. So like, I know that's a far stretch, but like if we were to bring in people here and say, let's all play a game. And if we were to say like, let's do something that has nothing to do with the environment whatsoever, right? And then people are asked to like, oh, do this, and then they recycle things or whatever, they put stuff away. And then we can come in at the end of the game and say, well, in that moment, like bringing every aspect of like light pollution or sustainability and all of these things, it said, did you know that the way that America is going, that we're currently using up to 5 Earths, which is like a lot, obviously, right? Like the stretch that we're going in Africa is like less than 1. So it's just like the idea of this and just bringing people's awareness, then saying the stuff you just threw in the recycling, none of that is recyclable.
Right.
And then they're gonna be like, what? You know, and like if they're thinking about environment, if we're saying it, sometimes they might just like doze off. But if we kind of bring that aspect of like, let's do something like a game and then they learn from it, then it's like that hits them a lot more.
Right, and that's exactly, I think, where they're going with that, and we just need the creativity to make it happen.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're
or
on
the-
the team, Archie.
The hope is to have like bins essentially, right? And then like bring up a contestant and then give them some items and then, all right, you've got 10 seconds, put them in the right places. And then they, you know, they try to put them in the right things. And then we go, all right, let's take a look at how they did. All right. Oh, these things, this is recyclable. Yes, these all are. Oh no, this could have been recycled, but you were in doubt, so you threw it out. Great job. You know, I mean, that's exactly the type of thing that I'm picturing.
And we're gonna put it on TikTok.
I'll
Thanks,
talk to my
Doc.
agent about that.
Yeah, so Archie, we'll loop you into the email chain when we start chatting up how we're gonna do the game and what other kind of tabling activities we're gonna have. I'd love if you want to give some thought to maybe an activity for younger kids. We get a lot of kids at Winterfest. It's cold usually because we're outside. We're in the DPW building, but it's not heated and it's open and people are coming and going. But we like to usually try to have something for the kids. So if you have some thoughts there, would love to hear those. You know, at any point, I'll send you an email with a couple different things, and we can start chatting that way.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like a lot of names in my mind of people, because this is exactly what I did for like a month or so, where we created every single time a new project. So one time it was like building a town full of like resources that we had. The second was like, I think it was like this, I forgot the exact capacity, but we had to figure out like the architecture required to sustain this environment and like what we would put there. And it was different perspectives, because like I remember there was a game where they would ask questions and they would say, what do you think the answer is, right? And it was easy, but like they would explain it's actually this. And so there were so many varying levels of creativity because everyone has their own thing. And when we had that idea of like seeing different groups, people just like, if you've heard of hydroponics and things like that, and having that own home, like they're so cute, and you know, like different aspects of it. But we were given the task of like, how would you present this to an adult? How would you present this topic to an elementary school student? And so we had to constantly come up with ways on how we could structure our information.
Nice. That sounds exciting.
Okay, anything else on Winterfest or any other community outreach opportunities? if not, we'll move on miscellaneous, November McMail tips. I think, Jeff, maybe that idea came from you that we're, you know, we haven't been putting out as much recycling information as we had. I don't want to ask you to do this because I know you're
Well,
doing.
but I could recycle.
You
an
can
old topic.
recycle an old topic.
You know, I touched on it last year and I can make it more specific to pumpkins. So
Okay.
what do you do with your old pumpkins? I mean, tis the season, right?
Just do not put in there
Is,
the deer to eat it.
No.
Don't do that.
That's my mind.
I didn't say that last time, but
I think it was in something having to do with.
are you tired of the deer eating your pumpkin? I said or something.
No,
No, I
you just
think-
can't say that you're feeding the deer with your pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
See, we have an ordinance, Scouts.
Yeah. I hope I didn't say that because I know.
No, but somebody,
It's
somebody else.
somewhere in there, yeah, it was timed poorly with
with the new
the
ordinance.
new deer ordinance, yeah.
The deer will eat your pumpkin if you throw it out there, but, and I mentioned that, and that got included in the thing, and right as we pass an ordinance that we're not supposed to feed the deer. So
Okay.
So somebody read it as, okay, you're telling us to feed the deer.
Okay, all right, well,
Well,
It was really nice.
it happens.
Yeah.
But just, as long as that's not the highlight of the article.
mm-mm.
But no, definitely the whole recycling of the pumpkin, I always like around this time of year.
Okay, it seems like it's the right season and I
Yeah.
can pull something together, so I can put something together.
That if you don't mind.
I know.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. And Archie, that's something, if, you know, one of these months that you're with us, we'd love to have you help us out with these McMail tips. What is it? We say about 300 words environmental tip that we include in the monthly town newsletter.
Ryan just wrote one last month about lights.
Right.
So,
And we've got all kinds of older ones we could show, or you could see what Jeff puts together for this one, and just for examples, but just gotta be thinking, at some point, we'd love for you to provide one of those for us. All right, the EAC open position, I see that is now advertised. Were you able to double check on the expiration of that term?
As far as I
Because-
know, it's gonna be,
I didn't think that one expired until 2026. Because I thought that was Dave's and he got it in 2022.
it should be 2026.
It should be 2026, I believe. I hate to post another real short term one.
No, mine expires 2024.
Really?
Yeah, mine was a 2-year.
You replace some.
You
I
replaced somebody.
replaced somebody.
That's what always happens there. So
I think mine is too,
I
2024.
think you
I
might
don't
be
know the
right.
website here because Dave and Ken were reappointed at the same time, because they were
Right.
both originals.
Right. And I think Matt, you had didn't you re-interview last summer?
I don't remember if it was last summer, but yes, I definitely re-interviewed.
Right.
I ended the term that I filled, and then I now
Right.
am in a new term.
Yeah, it should be 2026.
Okay,
So
I just wanted to kind of clarify that.
I'll make that change. I mean,
First-
that doesn't, for the advertising, that doesn't matter, so we'll just.
No, not
Make that
really,
note,
just,
fine.
but I know the posting and just so they know it's not just like an 8 or 9 month term. And what is the timing on that?
October 26th is the deadline.
October 26th. Okay. Any applications yet?
Not that I know, like several things are being,
I know there's a
Advertised right now.
whole list right now, right?
yeah.
Okay.
There was someone on the EAC email address who was asking about, who was interested a while ago. I said, hey, if you want to do this, here's,
Mhm.
happening yet. I don't know if we'll get any bites or not, but
Okay, so once again, if any of us know anybody that we think would be a good candidate for it, please reach out to them and let them know this opening is out there. I think I had one individual I met at the speaker event back in May. In fact, I think I have her card that I know was interested, so I'll reach out to her.
Beth Dutton.
I know she's got the whole NAEC thing. Yeah.
She's trying to get a lot of that.
I think she is, but I don't know if she has yet. She signed up to to come out on Saturday, so
Oh,
maybe we
nice.
can hit her up.
Can I ask one question? So Ken, you said you have a term limit coming up.
I don't think
Somewhat.
you do. You're 2026.
Okay,
You got 3 more years.
okay.
So
I feel better now.
for some reason, our town council voted that you could only serve on any committee 2 terms,
Right,
2 full terms.
right.
You could do a half.
Like
term
if
and
you
then
came,
2
if
full.
you came in as a partial,
Yeah.
you can apply 2 more full times.
But in my opinion, town council always had the right to say, okay, they've been there long enough. We're not going to support them. So I don't understand why they did it, because it makes it difficult for some boards. You know, some boards are highly specialized, like McCandless Township Sanitary Authority.
Right,
They do a 25 square mile radius, and it's you have to have some very specific expertise, and it's only served by people out of McCandless. So that even, you know, so how do you find people with this expertise? You know, so we kind of bit our nose off to spite our face by putting that role in. So I'd like to see that,
that go away.
yeah, go away. Because ultimately, the council, if they don't like you after one, they can get rid of you during the term, you know, for that matter. So I don't understand why it was
Yeah.
necessary, but it passed.
I think a lot of boards are like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of standard. Okay.
Mm.
All right, and then Jack, I know we had submitted a budget to you. I mean, and it was really kind of an informal budget that you had
It
asked
was
us for.
appreciated, and it's
on-
been given to our finance. I have my 1-on-1 on, or 2-on-2 on
Okay,
Tuesday,
okay,
not today, but Tuesday.
okay,
And I'll find out how much we've been allocated. It was actually kind of there, but it fell under a number of different
Okay.
buckets. I think she actually likes the fact that it's now more specific. So
okay, because we've always kind of been told that, but we've never really been given a budget number, and I would feel better knowing what it is as well.
that's how I operate too.
Just so we can keep track of it and know what we're doing. So I appreciate that. Let us know if you need anything else
Okay.
to back that up, but so the budget we put in was about $1,000. And that's just for supplies for our litter cleanups, crafts Dawn does at Community Day, and just all the little programs we run, just so we have a little bit of money to spend for supplies, essentially. So that anything we spend on a program, we can get reimbursed. Okay, any other items for discussion that we missed, or anything that you'd like added to the agenda for next month?
Winterfest.
Yes, okay. We'll do that. Thank you.
What's Winterfest?
And that's what Dawn was talking about. That's our basically our winter community day.
What's Community Day? Is this the same thing?
Community Day was held back in early September, like the second Saturday in September. And that's where, basically, help me out here, Jack, that it's the town.
Just
They
a
do
part.
it's a big town party, yeah. Fireworks, bands playing,
Vendors.
vendors, booths, entertainment.
Cranberry have one of those, like.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yep, of varying sizes but ours is generally on Saturday afternoon and evening, and it ends with fireworks.
We made a major faux pas this year. We brought in the NA band, not thinking that they were all gonna drive down here. So they all drove down here. There were no parking
Nowhere to
spots
park.
for the people that wanted to come listen to the band. So we learned a good lesson, so that'll be handled next year. They'll come in a bus.
Well, hey, Jack, I know a few years ago they used to actually march from the where the cinemas used to be, but now that's like there's no that parking lot's gone. So but they used to like all park over there, and then they actually marched a parade down to the town hall.
Right, right.
But actually, they were trying to get permission from another property owner. And that person didn't respond, so we'll have a solution by next year.
Good. Okay, I guess next, Jack, is if you have any additional reports from town council?
Well, we did appoint both a male and a female junior council person.
Oh, so you have
We
two.
have two,
Okay,
and that we were gonna have them sworn in last Monday,
mhm,
but only one could make it, so we're making it the next council meeting, which will be in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I believe it's 2 weeks.
okay. So good, so you had more I think last year they didn't have any applicants,
We had
so.
excellent, just like we did
had
here,
Yeah,
did an excellent
amazing,
list to
Yeah.
pick from.
great.
Kudos to your generation for stepping up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. All right, well, if no one else has anything additional, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, one second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone.